So I think Vedas we had seen, now Smritis we have to see, I believe. Next to the Vedanta come into Smritis.
Yes, yes.
So some of you
Actually,
can read.
You have discussed some part of the Smritis also, but we have not read that part.
Yeah.
We will start from there. Second, Vedantism.
Jaffna is it, no?
Jaffna.
Yes.
Om Namah Shriyati Rajaya Vivekananda Surai Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamini Tapaharine. So we are reading from the lectures from Colombo to Almora. We are discussing about the second lecture, Vedantism, and we have discussed about the Vedas last day. So this is in this book, page number 22. Next to the Vedanta come the Smritis. These also are books written by sages, but the authority of the Smritis is subordinate to that of the Vedanta, because they stand in the same relation with us as the scriptures of the other religions stand with regard to them. We admit that the Smritis have been written by particular sages. In that sense, they are the same as the scriptures of the other religions, but these Smritis are not final authority. If there is anything in a Smriti which contradicts the Vedanta, the Smriti is to be rejected. Its authority is gone. These Smritis we see again have varied from time to time. We read that such and such Smriti should have authority in the Satya Yuga, such and such in the Treta Yuga, some in the Dwapara Yuga, and some in the Kali Yuga, and so on. As essential conditions changed, as various circumstances came to have their influence on the race, manners and customs had to be changed, and these Smritis, as mainly regulating the manners and customs of the nation, had also to be changed from time to time. This is a point I specially ask you to remember. The principles of religion that are in the Vedanta are unchangeable. Why? Because they are all built upon the eternal principles that are in man and nature. They can never change. Ideas about the soul going to heaven and so on can never change. They were the same thousands of years ago. They are the same today. They will be the same millions of years hence. But those religious practices which are based entirely upon our social position and correlation must change with the changes in society. Such an order, therefore, would be good and true at a certain period and not at another. We find accordingly that a certain food is allowed at one time and not another, because the food was suitable for that time, but climate and other things changed, various other circumstances required to be met, so the Smriti changed the food and other things. Thus, it naturally follows that if in modern times our society requires changes to be made, they must be made, and sages will come and show us the way how to meet them. But not one jot of the principles of our religion will be changed. They will remain intact.
Yeah, so we had discussed about the Vedas, and I think we had enough detailed discussion. So if you remember, Vedas has got 4 parts and 4 types of Vedas, which is the 4 parts are common. Brahmana, Samhita, Aranyaka and Upanishads, these are common for every Veda. So that we should keep it in a mind. And Vedas are Apaurusheya. It is not written by any particular person. Rather, it is a revelatory text. Now, this idea of revelation is common to many of the religions, if you see. For an example, if you see Jews, they're also his prophet. Suddenly for Moses, God revealed 10 commandments. So God revealed the revelatory text. Based on that, their religion was formed. And similarly for Christ, God revealed. And similarly in the Islam, if you see, God revealed, because Muhammad himself was illiterate, he never knew to read and write, but angel or God revealed him some messages, and based on that only Quran is there. So more or less, their texts are revelatory texts, unlike Buddhism and Jainism. Now, when it comes to after Hinduism has got a lot of scriptures. But in generally, there's one great mistake many of us we do. Everything we attribute to Vedas. For an example, we should eat in right hand and not lay in left hand. For an example. Without knowing, people say, why? Because it has said in Vedas. So Vedas has not told us whether should we eat in right hand or in left hand. That is just because of the usage and the utility point of view. Like that, many things, many of our traditions has been attributed to Vedas. Say for an example, marriage. Now, if you see marriage in Bengal and northern part of India, especially in Bengal, Rajasthan and all, generally the marriage happens at night. But whereas in southern part of India, if you see, the major part of or important part of the marriage happens in daytime. Now, why there is a difference? Generally, if you ask any elders, Veda te erukum bole diye. So Vedas have said like this very loose talk or very because of ignorant people make comments. Now Vedas won't speak of any of these things. When to get married, how to get married, and what are the rituals you have to do in the marriage. None of them has been spoken in Vedas. Now then, where do we get all this code of conduct? All this code of conduct we get in Smritis. Now we have got 18 Smritis. For an example, if you see, we have got Manu Smriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti, and Raghunandana Smriti, which is very prevalent in Bengal. Most of the Bengal traditions has been taken from the Raghunandana Smriti. So like that, there are 18 type of Smritis. These Smritis are nothing but like code of conduct or manuals, you can say, or code, you can say. For an example, India has got a constitution now, right now. Many times it has been changed also. Under different kings, they had their own constitutions. So similarly, these Smritis are Hindu code of life. Like whom to marry, whom not to marry. For example, cousin brothers and cousin sisters in India, generally we don't marry. Whereas in Islam, it is allowed. Now, why it is done? Because our Smritikara says. So Smriti in the like what to eat and what not to eat. For an example, in the southern part of India, in the Amavasya day, that is a full moon day, if you have got a father or a mother, you should eat at least 1 spoon of rice at night. And if you don't have a father or mother, then you should not eat rice at all on full moon day, Amavasya day night. That may be changed in Bengal or that may be changed in northern part of India. So some rules and regulations based on the geographical area, based on the weather condition, also some rules were done actually. Like this, there are so many rules has been done based on the Vedas, based on the Smritis. So what to eat, how to bath, when to get up, when to sleep, and marriage, and all our Shabda karmas, for example, all these things has been in the Smritis.
Can I ask you one thing, Maharaj? These things are just given as rules or with some reasons?
Rules based on reasons, of course. The primary reason is what? To curb our desires, to curb our instincts, or to curb our animal tendencies. For example, there was a very interesting story. Once one of the volunteer asked one of the monk, why should we chant Brahmarpanam before food? What is the necessity? He gave very beautiful, means you can say tradition or orthodox or anything. He gave a very practical reasons. One is that before starting the food, you are chanting Brahmarpanam. So in that Brahmarpanam mantra, you are reminding that everything is Brahman. like the food and the plate and the person who is eating and the act, everything is Brahman. So everything is what spiritual. So the food, even eating food has been converted into spiritual act. One thing. Second thing, for example, now 10 people or 20 people are sitting, especially in Belur Matandal, we can see that, or any Pangat you can say. 15-20 minutes you have to wait. Now, for an example, you like, any one of us, we like jalebi. Jalebi or rasgulla has been served on our plate. Especially children, we can see that children will try to eat. Chup tako, will be keep on saying that. Now, jalebi, rasgulla has been served. Now, Brahmarpanam has to happen. So that may take 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes based on the number of people to be served. Then 10 to 15 minutes, you are trying to control your senses. So a sense control has been practiced here in a way. So this Mutikaras has been done why? Because the ethics, morality will be well established in the society. So unnecessary adharma means unethical, immoral actions can be controlled, can be can be put on hold. That was their main reason. So based on the Vedas, Vedic principles, these Smritis were written. Smriti, again, it is from memory. So based on the Vedic ideas, ideals, principles, the sages formulated the code of conduct for us, what to do and what not to do. And for an example, we have got in Satya Yuga, Kruta Yuga or Satya Yuga, for that Manusmriti was given. Now for Treta Yuga, Yagnavalkya Smriti. And for Dwapara Yuga, there are two types of Smritis. One is Sankhi and the other is Likita. And for Kali Yuga, Parashara Smriti has been prescribed. That's what Swamiji tells you. See, Swamiji tells that every yuga had a particular smriti. Now, for example, there are some so-called secular mindset people, oh, Manusmriti is obsolete, Manusmriti should be banned, Manusmriti should be burnt off, like that people keep saying. Already our own people has said. So every yuga has got particular smriti. Manusmriti, if you feel some ideas can be followed, you can follow. And if you feel some ideas or some principles or some rules which has been laid out in Manusmriti, if you feel that is not holds good to the present age, you can leave it off. Why? Parashara Smriti has been told for the Kali Yuga, which is much advanced. Like that we have got, Vishnu Smriti, Daksha Smriti, Samavarta Smriti, Vyasa Smriti, any names, Shatatapa Smriti, Vasishta Smriti, Yama Smriti, Apastamba Smriti, which is very pertinent in southern part of India. Then Gautama Smriti, Devala Smriti, Atri Smriti, Shaunaka Smriti, like so 18 Smritis we have got. So Parashara Smriti has been prescribed to Kali Yuga. So these Smritis are secondary in nature. If there is a, difference of opinion between Vedas and Smritis, if there is there, so the Shastra says that Vedas are ultimate. Whatever Veda says, that has to be followed. And if there is any contradiction between Vedas and Smritis, if at all, then Smritis are to be rejected. So these are called secondary scriptures, and these are basically Hindu code of law. And here, very important point we have to understand, some principles, some ideas or some views are very primary, universal in nature. For an example, every one of us, all of us, we are Brahman, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, or Ahamasmi Brahma, Tattvamasi. These are primary principles and universal principles. These will never change at any given point of time. So there, you can't have any compromise at all. Now, for an example, in earlier days, monks used to travel either by foot or they used to travel on the palanquin. Just like Raja Maharajas, even monks also were, there are traditions where they used to sit in palanquin. So one of the Swami was asked in southern part of India, but as per the rule, earlier monks used to travel in by foot or palanquin. Now you people are traveling in a car, and especially sometimes some pontiffs, they travel in Benz car or whatever. How it is right? Are you not going against Dharma? Then the Swami said, my dear, if I start traveling in palanquin, then to come to your place 1 week before I should start or 2 weeks before I should start, that is not possible. Now, whether to travel in palanquin in the olden days or in the bullock cart or horse chariot, now traveling in a Benz car, are we breaking the law? No. So traveling is important, no doubt, but whether you're traveling in a bus or an aeroplane or any vehicle or anything, it's a mode of transport. That's where Ramakrishna mission monk of life, monastic life, is very pertinent to Shastras. Many times these questions comes, arguments comes, all these things. Even Kailas Ashrama Pontiff had come at some point of time, Bhuteshanji Maharaj time. Bhuteshanji and that Kailas Ashrama Pontiff, they had a long debate for 1 or 2 hours about mantras and about so many other things. And Bhuteshanji, giving all Shastra Adhara from the scriptures, he was able to convince this Kailas Ashrama, that is from the Rishikesh Pontiff. So Swamiji has kept the basic principles, universal principles about the divinity of the human being, dignity of human being, etc. intact, but based on this present age, he has changed all the secondary things. For example, in the southern part of India, if you go or any pontiffs, Mathadipatis, Dandi Sannyasis, we say, they don't use stitched cloth. They have got own reasons for that. And we use stitched clothes. Then are we going against dharma, yati dharma? No. So these are all secondary reasons and secondary causes. Like this, we can keep on giving so many examples. Like, for example, eating food. And like Ireland, even in India and especially in Bengal, most of you are fond of eating potato. I used to make a joke in Belur Math. Aloo is a Brahman and potol is Maya. Because first 6 months from April to almost September in the summer, we don't get potato, other vegetables. Since it will be costly, we used to have aloo potol sambar, potol aloo sabji afternoon every day. So that's why I used to make a fun. Oh, aloo is our Brahman and potol is Maya. Now, if you, as per some records or some history, potato was not the indigenous vegetable for the India, it seems. It came from Portuguese or someone. Now, if you see the northern part of India, at least southern part of India, there is a saying that if you eat potato, you will get rheumatism and knee pains, knee joints pain. That's the reason they don't eat too much. But in Bengal and all, without potato, you don't do anything, any curry or any food, for example. Now, whether it is right or wrong. Now, in the pontiffs and all, for example, traditional pontiffs, whatever the vegetables are which are indigenous to India, they eat only them. For example, even they won't use chili. Instead of that spice, they use pepper. Now we eat chilies, no doubt. Now whether it is against dharma or not, no. Because in those days, chilies were not available, they used to use pepper. Pepper using, it has got its positive effect, no doubt. Chili using, it has got positive and negative effect, no doubt, from the health point of view. But using chilies is against dharma, no. So these are called secondary details. Again, very funny thing is when I started coming to Ramakrishna Ashram, a very traditional orthodox family, this untouchability and all so much was prudent in the house. After coming to Ramakrishna Ashram and slowly coming into contact, then I used to go to friend's house and I used to eat, whoever used to give any food and all in friend's house, I used to eat and come. Then mother coming to, what? You ate and such a person. Okay, oh my God, they are from low caste or whatever, you ate and came and all. Granary and mother used to scold, and sometimes they got really vexed up and got annoyed, and mother scolded me that you went to Ramakrishna Ashram and you spoiled our caste and you have come now, you fellow, because you left all the traditions to the air. Means I was laughing because they have been come with the traditional mindset. They didn't understand all these things. Of course, now afterwards they took initiation and they have changed a lot now. That's different. But what you say, see, the religion means what? That's what Swamiji says. It has been confined to our cooking parts, our kitchen. So this is not told in Vedas. It is all told in Smritis. Now the Smritis are keep on changing. So these things we have to understand. That's what Swamiji has told. So based on the social position, based on the political positions, based on the change in climate, change in weather, change in geography, so many things have changed. We can change up all these things. And also, for an example, as I was talking, marriage, why it is done mostly in northern part of India and eastern part of India night, not at daytime, because when Mughals came, when Mughals started ruling, if there's a big function and all, they used to come, invade, they used to take jewelry, money, and any good female women were there, they were taken to their harem. So many women were kidnapped and what all nonsense it has to happen. That's the reason, to safeguard the woman and to safeguard themselves, the marriage slowly shifted at night time. So night, if they do, people will not understand that the soldiers will not understand, we can finish the marriage. So that became as a political necessity. and whatever parda system for an example, and this child marriage and paniyamma, that is after the death, vidavas, they used to use only white saree or red saree, shaven heads. All these things are not told in Vedas or of scriptures. All of them came as a political necessity or social necessity. So these things we have to understand. That's what Swamiji is telling. We have got Smritis. Smritis are based on Vedic principles, so they are told, but they are time bound. If you feel anything is which is not prevalent and which is not relevant to the present time, definitely you can change. And very interestingly, Swami Vivekananda says, I have got a desire that my disciples should write a Smriti for the present age or the present time. And one of the monk, based on Swami Vivekananda's ideas or whatever, he has, Swami Vivekananda's teachings, he has taken and he has given to different pandits. It was in English, no doubt. So he has given to pandits. He has asked them to translate in the form of poetry or slokas. And he has tried to, more or less, because Swamiji's desire was there, based on the Swamiji's intention and desire, he has tried to do a Vivekananda Smriti. But it has to get a, Shastra Sammata from the Pandits or whatever. At least it has been started. The process has been started. Now you can see any Rishi or Avatara Purusha, incarnations, if they think, really, that will, if not today or tomorrow, that will come into practice or that will come into effect, we can say very clearly. Yeah. Now we'll go to Purana then. I've just given the nutshell of the Swamiji's ideas. Yeah. Someone of you can read now Puranas text.
So just before that, all the names that you mentioned, something like Parashar is popular in Bengal, right? So the other one that you mentioned for South is also for Kali.
Yeah, Yagna Apastamba. Yeah. And actually, even Parashara Smriti is even if you see in Bengal, even you don't follow Parashara Smriti, you follow Raghunandana Smriti actually. In Bengal, especially, it is followed Raghunandana Smriti.
And with this Smriti, is the story of Sri Chaitanya is there, because he was also writing something, and when Raghunandan read that and said that after your book comes into publication, nobody will read my book, and then Sri Chaitanya just poured dropped it in the Ganges.
As I remember, I think that was regarding Nyaya Sutras. That's not Smriti Grantha. It was on Nyaya. He had his own exposition on the Nyaya, Navya Nyaya.
The same Raghunandan?
Again, yes. That I'm not sure. Whether the same Raghunandan is a different Raghunandan, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay. So then there are the Puranas. Puranam Panchalakshanam, which means the Puranas are of 5 characteristics. That which treats of history, of cosmology, with various symbological illustrations of philosophical principles and so forth. These were written to popularize the religion of the Vedas. The language in which the Vedas are written is very ancient, and even among scholars, very few can trace the date of these books. The Puranas were written in the language of the people of that time, what we call modern Sanskrit. They were then meant not for scholars, but for the ordinary people. And ordinary people cannot understand philosophy. Such things were given unto them in concrete form by means of the lives of saints and kings and the great men and historical events that happened to the race, etc. The sages made use of these things to illustrate the eternal principles of religion.
Okay, so I think one more point I wanted to tell is, apart from Vedas, at broad canvas, apart from Vedas, every other text, scriptural text has been brought under Smritis actually. So that's the one point I wanted to mention. But when it comes to darshanas are not considered as Smritis. For an example, Gautama Sutra is there. Gautama Sutra, which is the Nyaya philosophy, has been based on the Gautama Sutras. Now, these darshanas are the philosophical, structured interpretation of the particular school of thought. Now, Nyaya school of philosophy we have got. So, Nyaya Sutras is based on Gautama Sutras. So, that is the first for an example. Vaisheshika school of philosophy is based on Vaisheshika Darshana, is based on the Kanada Sutras. Now, Vedanta is based on Badarayana Sutra, that is Brahma Sutra. Like that, every school of philosophy has got the sutras. Based on that, their darshana is there. Darshanas, sometimes people do put under Smritis, but which is not right. But otherwise, all other scriptures except Vedas, they classify under Smritis. Okay. Now, Swamiji is discussing about the Purana. So, Swamiji is basically, when he starts about Vedanta, first he spread the Hinduism, the history of the Hinduism, the history of the word Hindu, we discussed in the previous class he spoke. Then he's speaking of different types of scriptures. Now, after speaking of Vedas and after speaking of Smritis, Swamiji is speaking of Puranas. Now, what is this Purana? This Pura Bhavam Iti means that which existed in the past. Pura Bhavam Iti, that which existed in the past. That is what called Purana. Now, there is a definition for Purana. For example, you write in a local language, oh, don't tell Purana, please. If someone is talking too much, then they will say, please don't tell, stop Puranas. Like that, there is a usage. Now, if I write some story or similar to a very long story, so will it be a Purana? Or can it be considered as Purana? We have got 18 Puranas and we have got 18 Upapuranas. We have got enough for our life to study. Not even one life is possible. Now, if I write tomorrow, if I or you or anyone else write some text and I say that, okay, this is also Purana, can it be considered as Purana if you ask? They say, Purana has got Pancha Lakshana. 5 characters it should be there. If these 5 characters are ticked, then it can be considered as Purana. So what is the 5 characters? Sargascha, Pratisargascha, Vamsho, Manvantaranicha. Sargascha, Pratisargascha, Vamsho, Manvantaranicha. Vamshanu Charitam Chaiva Puranam Panchalakshanam. So Sargascha. Sarga means sometimes people they wrongly translate that the chapter should be classified, but actual meaning is Sarga means here it is creation. So how the creation of the world happened? For example, if you have read, some of you have read Puranas, there where it tells the whole creation started such and such a time. Then Manu was the first person. Manu helped in this creation and etc. We have got a lot of Matsya Purana and all. We get a lot of stories, and Bhagavata Purana we have got a lot of stories about creation and all. So Sargascha means about the creation. Pratisargascha is again Pratisarga regarding that there are 2 opinions. One is recreation. What do you mean by recreation? Recreation is once main creation has happened, in between there are some places, some times, some major portion of the world has been destroyed and again it got created. Like that they define. And the other is when this pralaya happens, the destruction or dissolution happens, again creation gets started. So creation gets dissolved and again creation started. So that is called Pratisarga. If you remember, even Guru Maharaj also tells, Thakur also tells in Gospel that the creation was ending during the time, like mother, stores the seeds of every fruit or vegetable in a pot, afterwards again she sees. So that's based on basically Purana story. So Manu, when the creation, the Atyantika Pralaya or Mahapralaya, when he came, he collected the species, each species in the boat, and he took the boat, it seems. Then Pralaya happened everywhere, everything got destroyed, and basically afterwards again he brought in that boat back on the land, and from there the species came. Basically it is symbolic representation. So that is Pratisarga is again recreation. So recreation, how happened, when happened, why it happened, whatever, all these details should be there, it seems. Then Vamsha, genealogy of the Devatas, genealogy of Rishis, Rajas and Maharajas also should be there. This is where Gotras come into existence. Every one of us, Swami Vivekananda tells elsewhere beautifully, the beauty of our Hinduism or Indian culture is all of us, we trace our origin to particular Rishi. Rishis are, beggars in these days, in this modern language you want me to say, he tells they are called like beggars. But we feel proud to say that we are the origin from the beggars. The Rishis basically. So Vamsha Manvantaranicha. So now every this time has been considered as yugas and kalpas, manvantaras, which is very head-boggling, and it goes a lot of calculation is inside. So basically manvantara, so Manu, manvantara, kalpa, yuga, all these classification, whatever we say, that the Purana should contain that. Then Vamshanu Charitam Chaiva. Vamshanu Charitam is the details of the dynasties. Basically you can say lunar dynasty and solar dynasty, Surya Vamsha and Chandra Vamsha. Basically these are the two Vamshas. Any Raja will either he will be part of Surya Vamsha or Chandra Vamsha basically. So these 5 characteristics these are the 5 points which Purana has to happen. Any Purana should have these 5 things. This is what Swamiji said, Puranam Panchalakshanam, and Swamiji said. So this is what Swamiji is meaning. Now we have got 18 Puranas and 18 Upa Puranas. Now the question may come, why do we need these Puranas or Upa Puranas? Now, as we all know that Vedas were in Sanskrit. Now Vedas are in Sanskrit, that is the old Sanskrit, and it is not every common person can understand that. To understand Vedas, the Vedangas, 6 auxiliary systems of Vedas you should read. You should know Shiksha, you should know Kalpa, you should know Nirukta, you should know Vyakarna, you should know Chandas, and you should know Jyotisha also. All these 6 auxiliary systems you read, and you should go to Sanskrit, Vedic Sanskrit, then you read Vedas, you will understand. Now common people said, oh, Panditji or Swami or Rishi, you people don't have any other work, so that's only your work, you can do all these things, but we can't have so much time to read and understand, and we don't have so much capacity also. Then what to do now? So the Rishis said, okay, because you don't have time and you don't have that much capacity or whatever to study Vedas, so let us give the essence of the Vedas in the story form. And in the so-called modern Sanskrit, of course, now we don't understand even the way Puranas language also, because it is Sanskrit first and foremost, and we need translations, and even sometimes translations also will be difficult. So that in those days, it was a modern Sanskrit. Even sometimes Gospel or Thakurer Kathamruto, even the Bengali also has changed. If you see the original gospel and now the present gospel of Ramakrishna in the Bengali version, if you see a lot of here and there, not that Thakur's teachings have changed. The language syntax and the structure has been changed. Why? One is Sri Ramakrishna spoke from Kamarpukur language, that colloquial Bengali language he spoke. And the present day Bengal also, in Bengali language also has undergone a lot of changes if you see in 100 years. Now the old Bengali language, probably Sri Ramakrishna's that dialect, many of us may not understand. As a result, some polish has been done in Sri Ramakrishna's language in the Kathamruta. So similarly, in those days, the Puranic, the Sanskrit which has been seen in the Puranas, that was a modern Sanskrit, which was generally understood by common people. So you need not to read Shiksha, Kalpa, Nirukta, Vyakarna or anything, or need not to bother about Sanskrit grammar much. So with the basic Sanskrit language, you can understand. So to help the common people, our Rishis composed these Puranas, keeping these 5 points in the thing, but the Vedic ideas and ideals and these 5 points keeping in the mind, they wrote the Puranas. So in the form of stories, in the form of anecdotes. So in the form of stories, creation came into picture. In the form of stories, some particular Devata, like for example, if you read Shiva Mahapurana, there are so many stories about Shiva. So for example, Matsya Purana or Vishnu Mahapurana, if you read, there are so many stories of Shiva, Vishnu. So how he protected devotees, how the creation started, how Dharma was protected, how people were protected, and what are the great heroic acts of Vishnu or Shiva or any other different kings and all. So basically, through parables or through anecdotes, through stories, the philosophy or the principles, ideas and ideals, and also creation and etc. were given to the Puranas. That is the main intention. Yeah. You got any question with this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, time-wise, this modern one that is for the Kali, yeah, is there a definite time? Like we understand that when was Parashar Smriti was written?
Yeah, this time, yes, even exactly. Even I also cannot say. But traditionally accepted is Parashara Smriti is for the Kali Yuga, and which is much advanced or much later came after Manusmriti, they say. But exactly time, even I am not sure.
And also that you said that out of that fifth Lakshana is Bangshanu Charitam. So I was just wondering, with the Kali Yuga also, there are two typical dynasties mentioned in this modern latest.
Yes. Say for an example, as I know, like for an example, Maharana Pratap, for example, they always ascribe for the Vamshis. But I mean, even strictly speaking, for example, I think Bengali, with my limited knowledge, the Bengals first started by Paul, I believe, Paul or some particular kings. If, for example, some new king came into picture, so many new empires, new dynasties, new empires came into existence in India. If you, for an example, if you say, definitely speaking, you cannot say that they belong to Surya Vamsha or Chandra Vamsha, strictly speaking. But in due course of time, somehow they will try to connect in some way or other way, either from Surya Vamsha or Chandra Vamsha. They may do it in the present day. So many dynasties came into existence in different parts of India and different times, you can say. Yeah. That's where you cannot, like, for example, you got a, Maharana Pratap's, whatever the story and all, you don't see in Puranas actually, because they came much later. So Puranas are much ancient, isn't it? So till then, whoever the existing kings were there belonged to Surya Vamsha, Chandra Vamsha, that's what we can see. Yeah. Yeah, next we can read. You want to read Tantras? We'll finish that small one. Yeah.
Yes. No, I was just thinking this Parashara means not that father of Vasudev.
He can be because these things are very highly confusing.
Then
confusing in the sense is because same name can exist always. One thing, and second thing, in Indian mindset in the olden days, they never gave any self-importance for themselves. When, for example, now the way if you introduce, immediately will say, "Oh, I am so and so." I am so and so. I will tell. Then afterwards, I will introduce, if at all, my father name, mother name, or what I am doing, etc. But in the olden days, whoever has no traditions and all, that is called pravara. Pravara is giving an introduction and doing a namaskara, for example. So, for an example, if I coming to from my pre-monastic tradition, that if I ask me, I used to do pravara while doing any namaskaras to seniors, especially monks. I should say, Chatussagara Paryantam Go Brahmanepe Shubhaya Bhavatu Bhargava Daivodasa Vardreshveti Trayashaye Pravaranvita Apastamba Sutraha Yajushaka Adhyayi Maitreya Sagotra Kirana Gupta Nama Asmi Boha, I used to tell. What is the meaning? That let the people, Brahmanas and go and everyone, let it be, everyone be happy. Then I am from the lineage Bhargava, Daivodasa, Vardeshveti. These are the three first rishis of my lineage, and I am from Maitreya Sagotra, and I follow Apastamba Sutra, and I follow Yajushaka, that is Yajurveda, and my name is so and so. So my name is at last actually. So all is my Gotra and the Rishis, former Rishis, and etc. So that's how individual attention, individual importance was never given in the India. As a result, it is very difficult for us to say whether the Parashara is Vyasa's father or is a different Parashara. It is very difficult to say.
On that note, lightly, I think Bharat still does this.
Yeah.
No, because she is asking, and all these 18 Puranas and 18 Upapuranas all goes in the name of Vasudev, right?
Yes. Vyasa is very clearly told that it is a position, not a person.
Okay.
Like Vyasa, Brahma Sutra is written by Vyasa, for an example. Now, who is that Vyasa? Is called Badarayana. So his name is Badarayana, but is also considered as Vyasa. So Vyasa can be like surname or can be considered as a position. Now, for example, Shankaracharya, that's why we use Adi Shankaracharya. Why you want to use Adi Shankaracharya? Because in that Shankaracharya much, all pontiffs are considered Shankaracharya. Now, if you say Shankaracharya is written, it can be any pontiff also. Now, when you say Adi Shankaracharya, then the first Shankaracharya, I mean. So like that, it can happen. Like, see, this is how traditions build. Even now, if you see, I mean, in our mission also, in our tradition, whoever is the President Maharaj, we always see that he is the representative of Thakur. Isn't it? So slowly, it can come into practice. That's, I mean, like using a particular name, either in Swamiji name or Thakur name or something like that, as a representatives. So that's how these traditions keep on, I mean, getting added or keep on building and all. So that Parashara is the same Parashara of, that is Vyasa's father Parashara is a different, at least I do not know. And it is very difficult to say also, actually. We can argue, definitely, no doubt, based on the language and a lot of discussions has happened. But it is all, again, speculations. It is very difficult to say.
Okay. So there are still other books, the Tantras. These are very much like Puranas in some respect, and in some of them, there is an attempt to revive the old sacrificial ideas of the Karma Kanda. All these books constitute the scriptures of the Hindus. When there is such a mass of sacred books in a nation and a race which has devoted the greatest part of its energies to the thought of philosophy and spirituality, nobody knows for how many thousands of years, it is quite natural that there should be so many sects. Indeed, it is a wonder that there are not thousands more. These sects differ very much from each other in certain points. We shall not have time to understand the differences between these sects and all the spiritual details about them. Therefore, I shall take up the common ground, the essential principles of all these sects, which every Hindu must believe.
Yeah. See, Swamiji is making 2-3 points, very interesting points. See, generally, many of us, we feel, oh, we have got so many castes, so many deities, and so many sampradayas. Whereas in Semitic religions, it is not so. That's why they are all united, and we are not united. That's what we say. So here, Swamiji is giving a beautiful idea for this analysis. And I say, we are unorganized, organized religion. We are unorganized, organized religion. They are organized, organized religion. The Semitic religions. Anyway, this is from the history point of view. Now you see why it is, because there was a religious freedom, spiritual freedom, which was given in India. First point. That's why there are so many classes, so many schools, so many sects came into picture. First point. And second thing is, most part of the people, they gave a substantial amount of time and energy for spirituality and for philosophy. That is the reason such a beautiful tenets of different schools and scriptures came. And Swami says that so much we gave time and energy in centuries, and I wonder only why very few schools and why not few others, thousands of schools. He says, I wonder. So because we spent our time and energy in spirituality and philosophy, we could have got some more. Of course, many things we have, we have got lapsed also. For an example, Yajurveda itself. Yajurveda is one, we all know that. But Yajurveda itself, in Yajurveda, there were so many schools. The way of understanding, the way of interpretation, and some few places, the mantras were also differ. That is called Patabeda, Patantara we say. A Sanskrit technical term. Patantara we say. Patantara means there will be different changes, small changes in. For example, even Chandi also, when it comes to whatever Ramakrishna Math we have got, it belongs to Kaula Marga, which Sri Ramakrishna started his sadhana. That's called Kaula Marga, for example. Now, if you see southern part of India, here and there are small variations. Either in the Chandi, the 700 slokas, and even in the Anganyasa, not in Anganyasa Karanyasa, in few other things, Devi Aparadakshamapana Stotra and other things, because that is Sri Vidya Sampradaya. That is called Samayachara Marga. Anyhow, the technical details, all these things. So like there are so many different techniques, different traditions were there because of the tradition. Now coming into Tantras. Now Tantras, we have got 64 books actually. Like if you see Mahanirvana Tantra, which many of you might have heard, Kularnava Tantra, Kulasara Tantra, Prapancha Sara Tantra, Tantra Raja, Rudra Yamala Tantra, Brahma Yamala, Shiva Yamala, like that, 64 textbooks are there on Tantras. So Tantras are basically where divine energy or the God is expressed as universal mother, and she is the creator, and she is the sustainer, and she is the dissolver of the universe. Even Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra also, they are at the mercy of or the command of mother, universal mother. They are following things. That is what the thing. Now these tantras are also based on Vedas only. Primarily, they accept the authority of Vedas. They are based on the Vedas, but they came existingly. What you say? Just a minute, there's one quick call. Hello? No, class ali din kano? Okay. Yeah, sorry. So Tantras is based on the mother's divine worship or supremacy of mother. They're based on the Vedas, no doubt, but it came an independent system as a spiritual and philosophical system in India, especially eastern part of India and northern part of India mainly, and in southern part of India, southwest part of India, that is what in Kerala. Here we got a main tantras we can see. Okay. And this tantra is basically, it is called agamas. The texts are called agamas. There are agamas and nigamas. What is the difference between agama and nigama? Very interesting story. I mean, the interesting point for the differentiation is what? Now, for an example, if you have, many of you might know Siddhakunjika Stotra. Siddhakunjika Stotra. There, in Siddhakunjika Stotra, Parvati asks, what is the greatness of the Siddhakunjika Stotra? So they said, Shiva Vacha, Shunudevi Pravakshami, Eduktam Grantha Gotibi, like that it goes. Now there, Shiva is the teacher, and Parvati or Devi is the student. That is what called Agama. Shiva is the teacher, and Parvati or Devi is the student, basically. That is called Agama. And if it is a vice versa, that is, Devi is the student, teacher, and Shiva is the student. Means basically Shiva is questioning, Shiva is putting some questions, and Devi is answering. That is called Nigamas. So Shaiva Agamas are there, then Tantra Agamas are there. And one more interesting is, then Pancharatra Samhitas comes. There they take, as you know, Vishnu as a supreme deity. Now this Ramanujacharya belongs to this Pancharatra school. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Madhvacharya, they belong to Bhagavata school. In the Vaishnavism, there are the main two texts from the scripture point of view, two main divisions. One is Pancharatra, the other is Bhagavata. So Pancharatra have got their own text, and Bhagavata, they have got their own text apart from Bhagavata. And this Pancharatra Samhita, they have got 215 texts, it seems. So as I said, Ramacharya's philosophy is based on this Pancharatra, what do you say? So based on that, their worship, their philosophy, everything based on will be on this Pancharatra. So that's what Swamiji is saying. So he says Tantras and this, of course, Agamas, just he has made a mention very thing, but otherwise he has not gone in detail actually. Yeah.
Is there any example of the Nigama Shastra that where Shiva is asking and Mother is replying? Can you give me some names?
Nigama, yes. Nigama, yes. Even yes, I'm not able to remember. It's a good question. Yes, let me think and tell you. Even I don't. At least as such, I don't remember even where Parvati is telling and Shiva is asking. Yes.
Because particularly always here Shiva is telling Parvati listening, and when Shiva is asking is a matter of curiosity.
Yeah. Yeah, I think enough. I've loaded with enough information today for enough. Okay, then time is over, I believe.
You have to make up for 5 minutes late. Just joking.
Yes. I have no problem. Yeah.
But it is your lunchtime only. We are,
I was giving proxy for Chandra. She is the moderator, so no comments now.
And also, I mean, see this again. This agama nigama is a one type of differentiation, or I told. And again, some places the Vedas are also considered as nigamas contextually. So when you use word nigama, so at what context they are using, we have to understand very clearly. On different schools, this usage of agama nigama it differs. For example, Shaivagama we say. In Shaivagama, when you say there, they mean the description probably of agama can change, or it can be a bit particular. So we have to be. It is a textual.
that Kashmir Shaivism is Agama Shastra.
Yeah, we can agama shastra. We can say yes.
So just one clarification. So within Tantra there are 64 texts. And then you said that this Pancharatra Samhita and Bhagavat. So they are part of from the
agamas, but they are different agamas again.
No, sorry. I have to make a connection out of this. What is the connection with Tantra and Agama? So all the Tantras are divided into Agama and Agama? No.
Tantras are yes. It is been classified under agamas or nigamas.
All the Tantras.
All the Tantras. Like that, there are Shaivagamas, Shaktagamas, Vaishnavagamas.
Right. And then within Agama, this Pancharatra and Bhagavata are there.
Yes.
So they are also part of...
Agamas are called Pancharatra Samhita, they will say. They use a different word, Pancharatra Agamas, but they use Pancharatra Samhita.
Okay.
But then this Vishnu Agamas are part of Tantra.
No. Tantras is only, it is a Shakta. It is based on mothers, a supremacy of mother it is. Because after Tantras, so just I mentioned these two as a extra information.
Oh, in many Ramprasadi Gan এই আগম নিগম গুলো আছে কোথায় না
Tantra Agam Nigam Tantra Sare এই লাইনটা
So there agama means these are agamas, nigama means there it is Vedas actually. Yeah, so that's what you have to understand very contextually. So with these words, who are you? Like Shaivas, you're using agamas, and Vaishnavas are using agamas. Shaivas, Shaktas, you're using agamas. All they use same word, but meanings will be different. As I said, again, nigamas cannot be changed if someone says that. If say, that means he is referring nigama as a Vedas actually. Yeah. Now next theory of creation comes. Swamiji takes a theory of creation.
So better that we start that in the next day because that is the...
So Maharaj, I have heard something about Vaishnava Narada Pancharatra. So it is a part of Vaishnava Tantra.
Yes, you said. You are right.
So Maharaj, about the next class then and about that Leela Prasanga class.
Oh, you leave for me June at least. June I've got a lot of...
Maharaj, please. We all are so interested to learn Leela Prasanga from you.
No, that is true. But I have to spend time, See, because June first week I'm going to London. London I've got 2 retreats. Then next weekend I'm planning to do some thorough cleaning and painting in ashrama. Then 3rd week I'm getting Shantatmananji and we are having our anniversary, 6th anniversary. 4th weekend, embassy is asking to do some yoga seminar. Discussions are going on. So 5th weekend of June, I'm planning to start a yoga certificate course. These are special events, and apart from the regular events, I have got. And I've got regular classes also. I mean, even I do like, because one is you are all serious, and one is that, and second thing that also helps me to once more to go through or to read Leela Prasanga. Even I do love that. Maybe after June we will try to have it.
So from July then?
Yes, Maharaj, whenever you're available.
I hope so.
No, then he will keep on
After June,
delaying
Maharaj is
things.
saying after June.
No, you ask then Malvika Di to help for my admin work little more, then I can come.
No, Malvika Di told that she is not, she also doesn't have time for any new admin work. She refused, straight out she refused.
Then what to do, you tell me.
No, I am
So-
waiting
so-
to resign as soon as somebody else is released, and then I can do something.
No, because see, in India, I mean, it is different, but here we have got, like, generally we are alone, so we have got a lot of, workload, everything we have to do, organize. One function means, function, function ache koredao, Adheka Maharaj boleda. Here I am myself, I am Adheka, I am the assistant here. I have to tell and I have to organize everything, I mean, they are all there, devotees are there for me to help a lot of, no doubt, but organizing and a lot of homework I have to do. That's why time goes.
Absolutely, lot of work.
So Maharaj, next class, it will be in 29, you prefer 29 June or 29 May or 5th June? Because 5th June is Falaharini Kalika Puja, I think.
Okay. 29th we can make, yeah. 29th, this we can discuss the Colombo to Almora.
Okay.
Palahani Kali Puja is also very interesting actually. I made a lot of, once I made a lot of study on that. How Thakur fulfills the Shastras very nicely. He started with that Kola Marga and Puri Sampradaya, that whatever we come, Stota Puri, that Puri Sampradaya is generally, of course, they are interchangeable, but it belongs to Shungeri. The Shungeri, their Srividya Sampradaya, they practice. So though he starts with Kola Marga, but he ends with the Srividya Sampradaya. His sadhana was ended with Srividya. So that's how that Palahani Kali Puja day, that he did the Shodashi Puja. Shodashi Puja is, in Srividya it is called Bala, Panchadashi, Shodashi, Mahashodashi. So he did that Shodashi Puja on the Palahani Kali Puja day. How he gave that scriptural authority. So he started with Kola Marga and he ended with Srividya. From the scriptural point of view, I mean to say. And if you see all the history, very interestingly, all incarnations, including Shankara and all, so they, before their main Leela Karya, they did mother worship and they started their Leela Karya. Main work, I mean to say. So how they fulfilled all this, the tradition of the earlier incarnations, and apart from that, how they followed, knowingly or unknowingly, it is difficult to say, but how they fulfilled the Shastras.
So a special lecture, Jigashu lecture.
Maybe we will see some other time, yeah.
Okay.
Because that Wednesday, June 5th, I am going to John Scott School here. We have got a function there about regarding Sanskrit something, so I will not be here also.
Okay.
Wednesday I am not here.
So better than 29th will be our class. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Pranam.
Shall I go little fast, little reduce details? Because if it, like this, if you go 2-3 years, it may take to finish complete.
Well, let it take 2-3 years. We have no hurry. Because
will you not lose interest afterwards?
No, no,
No, Maharaj. They
Okay.
are enjoying further.
because it will help us to understand many other books also. No?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yes, it will reflect you understanding many other, like when you read Kathamrita or any other books. Yes. Okay, then. Thank you.
Ramachandra.
করেছি আমার মাঝখানে